Hey, leaders of the pack. You've seen over the past week or so, maybe a little bit more, that addiction has been a subject that has really been brought up a lot of times and sometimes in a very revealing way within the leader of the pack brotherhood. I want to talk about this and I want to mainly discuss what is the place for dealing with things like addiction within leader of the pack. Leader of the pack is made to help men, inspire men, and give tools to men to stand up, lead, and protect the way God made us to be. Very often, men are not fulfilling our full potential because of all different things in our life at all different levels and scales. Sometimes it's because of disbelief in ourselves, sometimes because of self-fulfilling prophecy, sometimes it's because of the environment we are in, a way we grew up, addiction, economic issues, emotional issues, our marriage, our children, ourselves, our own stuff, most of all. But we're all dealing with stuff at different levels, different severities. It's important to me that every single man involved in leader of the pack has his place to express himself, to ask his brothers to hold him accountable so that he can grow and move forward. At the same time, it's very important to me that we don't become as a brotherhood so focused on one or two issues that that's all we deal with. That men who are not dealing with those issues feel left out, feel that it's not relevant to them to be a part of leader of the pack. There are always going to be things coming in and out that are specific to specific men. That because we're a safe and trustworthy place, they feel this is the place, and rightly so, to share those things with us. We all, as men of a brotherhood, have some level of accountability to another man. So if we are not struggling with financial difficulties, it doesn't mean that it's not good for us to hear about another man's financial difficulty. Number one, it may save us from falling into the same trap. And number two, it means we can understand him to be able to help him, to hold him accountable, to kick his tush when he's not doing the right thing. Same thing with addiction. We may not be dealing with addiction at the same level as some of our brothers are, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't hear about a certain level of their addiction. Number one, to warn us how dangerous it can actually get, to keep us away from the same mistakes that they have made. And it's amazing that there are some men here willing to share. Number one, as part of their own process, but number two, to help those that are not dealing with addiction or have not dealt with addiction know how dangerous it can be. It's like, hey guys, don't end up like this. Maybe God used that person or those people in order to warn the rest of us not to dabble in those things because of how dangerous it can be. But number two, so that we can help hold them accountable. Hey, X, last week you told us that you were going to Vegas and you were really worried about looking at other women and where that would take you. So do you want to give me a call when you go to Vegas? Or how was Vegas? Did you stand up? Were you actually able to keep to your word? If not, what do you need so that I can help you? Or maybe you're not ready to help that person, but just for them to know that you're there if you are ready. So sharing within leader of the pack, no matter what it's about. Last week, we spoke about controlling wives, and I made it on the accountability call, I made it very clear. This call is not to, excuse my language, bitch about our wives. This is so that we can help each other through, give advice to each other, hear each other, feel heard, which so many men are not even heard by their wives, but wow, they're being heard by their brothers. There was amazing, amazing wisdom that came out of that call. So not every call, not every accountability means that I am that type of man, therefore leader of the pack is only for me if that is what we're dealing with. No. Like manhood is a collection of my life, my brother's lives. Now, you can take the easy way out, dudes. You can take the easy way out. And you go, this is all too much for me. I really do not want to be a part of this. I don't want to hear about other men's problems. I got my own shit to deal with. Go for it. Not a problem. But know that when we are there for other men, they will be there for us. At the same time, I want to make it very clear, if you don't feel ready to be an accountability partner for someone about a specific issue, if you feel it's too much that they're sharing something very, very specific on leader of the pack, you have every single right to say, hey dude, brother, I'm so sorry you're going through that. This is really not good for me to hear. Or you can message me. Someone messaged me today and said, hey Nathan, someone put something, I'm not going to make it specific, someone put something on one of the chats in leader of the pack. I was really worried about it because, this is a place of safety, a place of non-judgment. And I explained to him what the intent of that person was putting that there. And he was like, oh, okay, thank you so much. That makes me feel so much better to understand it. At the same time, I'm going to tell that other man that put it there, hey dude, you don't have to take it off, but just be understanding that of what you put out there is not only for you, but it's also everybody is able to view it. That being said, on the same point, I want us to be very careful if we're sharing something, especially about addiction, especially about sexuality. We have to be really careful in how we describe that, because all of us, if not some of us, when we hear certain things about sexuality, certain things about pornography, certain things about even gambling, like whatever addiction it is, whatever thing it's pull it is, it can turn us to fall off the fence. It can turn us to go back on negative things that we've done before. It can turn us to try it out. So we also have to be really, really careful about how we share things in order not to pull other men down into that place that we may be at. I hope that this makes sense. I hope that it explains why leader of the pack is open for these discussions, but at the same time has boundaries around what, how they are, and where they're discussed. If you have any issues, any thing that you want to discuss, anything that you don't want to put out there for everybody that you are worried about going into leader of the pack, email me. Email me, message me on Facebook. You all have the ability to come straight to me and let me know. I'm the leader of the pack, which means I take full responsibility for everything that happens here. So I need to know what's going on for you when you're reading, when you're seeing, when you're hearing everything that's going on. So thank you to all of you brothers that are willing to be a part of this. This is not the easy way. This is not the simple way. This is the way that God, I believe, God made us as men to be. Let's just take a few hundred years back. And in the tribal world, men shared our stuff. Men shared being accountable. Dude, you mucked up again. Well, the group's going to deal with that with you, right? Now, we have to be very PC in these days. So we're only going to deal with it the way you want it to be dealt with, right? But in days before, no, dude, we'll deal with it the way that we know as a tribe, as a tradition that helps men through whatever the issues those things are. All right. Hope that makes sense. God bless. Enjoy the weekly workout, and we'll see you next week. Peace out.